Okay. I guess I can. I guess you can. So, okay. Anyway, hi everybody. It's really good to see you again. And I don't know about you, but I've been really enjoying this fall weather that we're getting, where it's just God, it's gorgeous out. We can't get enough of it. It's a nice change from all that heat. Up here in Massachusetts, the leaves on the trees are starting to change color from green to red and to gold. And I didn't know it, but the male hummingbirds have gone south for the winter. I wasn't aware that they went by themselves. The females stay for a while longer to raise their hatchlings and are all over the place looking for nectar. I've seen what looks like flocks of them. Not something I've ever seen in my life. And they later follow the males and the juveniles south for the winter. Fall is emerging from summer. I've been thinking, but no, I don't really think thinking really covers it. I've been pondering Dharma. In the four great vows we chant, the Dharmas are boundless. I vow to master them. Well, what is Dharma? And boy, that's quite a challenge to master all these boundless dharmas, isn't it? It's like, trying to define it is like trying to define Zen, and it's not easily done. It's not something that you can just do easily. I've seen it defined as the teaching, the way, the ultimate truth. But to give it a name is like trying to corral it, trying to put it in a box. And it is boundless. It's not invented, and it can be experienced in every moment of our lives. When I'm putting a Dharma talk together, I want to offer something that's interesting, hopeful, and definitely won't put you to sleep. But it's surprising that so often I really don't see anything in being that the Dharma being so subtle that in my eyes I don't see anything that is that's particularly interesting. Sorry about the typo there, but it's it's important to see the Dharma is in what appears to be our mind, to be insignificant or everyday, as it is to attach to the flashy, bold, mind-catching things that we encounter. I like this example of something that's very ordinary. Once a monk asked Joshu, "I've just entered the monastery. Please give me instruction." Joshu said, "Have you had your breakfast?" The monk said, "Yes, I have." Joshu continues, "Then go wash your bowl." As we go through our day, we also eat our breakfast, wash our dishes, go to work, pay those bills, and have our dinner. And there is Dharma in all of that, although often it's very hard to see because it is, again, so subtle. I've heard many times that the Dharma is everywhere and is in everything, including you and me. So where is the Dharma since it's boundless? But since I can't see it very often. The idea is interesting that it's boundless. But boundless? That doesn't seem possible to me, or would I say, it seems inconceivable. More often than not, it's difficult to see because all of the thoughts that are constantly popping up in my mind. And as soon as one is gone, There's always another to take its place. I have to clear my mind and just pay attention to what is in front of me in that very moment. Not some fantasy of some other place and time, but right now in this very location and this very moment. We are offered Dharma by many, by our many wonderful, gracious teachers. Also different teaching to read. Sutras and tons of books that are on the market and on the bookshelves. We also have chants to do. We have study text and recite the Heart Sutra and the identity of relativity and absolute, amongst others. And they are all very helpful. We are all so lucky to have so many sources to point the way to us. And I'm so very grateful for it. One I almost forgot is koan practice. Doing koans helps us to see the obvious, buried in the weeds. The things that are, again, the subtle ones, the things that we encounter every day. They all point the way in their own manner, so as to help us to see what's right in front of us, under our noses, under our feet, in our daily lives. And as Dogen Zenji says, if you aren't able to find the truth right where you are, where else do you expect to find it? We all have to see it for ourselves and in our own way. Another koan that reflects all of this is case 78 in the Blue Cliff Record, 16 Bodhisattvas go to the bath. In olden times, there were 16 Bodhisattvas. When it was time for the monks to wash, the Bodhisattvas filed to the bath. Suddenly, they awakened to the basis of water. All of you Chan worthies, how will you understand them saying, subtle feelings reveal illumination, and we achieve the station of sons of Buddha. To realize this, you must be extremely piercing and penetrating. I chose this koan mainly because it shows how something as simple as experiencing water awakened these bodhisattvas to the basis of water. Does it really matter how many bodhisattvas there were? I don't really think so. I think one was more than adequate, but there were 16. What did they wash? Did they wash their bodies? And was there anything else they washed at the same time that helped them see the basis of water? I think the Heart Sutra answers almost all of it. Is it outside of me? Is it somewhere else that I have to go? Maybe on top of a mountain somewhere in Tibet, or go to China or Japan and study with a great master. Or is it right here at my doorstep? And actually, I know it is right here. I don't need to go anywhere else. The sutras and all the teachings and the chants are very, very helpful, and I think quite important. But how often do we chant, say, the Heart Sutra and never really pay attention to what it says? We just mouth the words. I've often done that myself. And I not paying attention to what is being said. But even that, I think, is helpful. Somehow, it does tend to sink in time. Or at least make you question or wonder. It's so easy to become blinded by my emotions and social norms, my preconceived ideas, my upbringing, which of course is where a lot of my preconceived ideas come from. And at times, I want to find something that is spectacular, magical, surprisingly unexpected. But it seems like the Dharma comes in all kinds of packages, and most of the time they're not spectacular and are more often than not just my everyday life, as simple as picking up this cup of water that I'm going to take a drink from. It's just my life, what I'm doing right now. Isn't it really something that the Dharma can be found in anything from a speck of dust to the stars in the sky and to you and I? What is it? What will wake us up to experiencing the truth? What will wake us up to the Dharma? My quest in life has been to discover the truth. That's what I think is the thing that has driven me most of my life. It is what I wanted to know ever since I was a teenager. I've been told many things that were said to be the truth, but most of them just didn't make any sense whatsoever. And again, as Dogen says, if you can't find the truth right where you are, where do you expect to find it? The thing is I was always looking for it someplace else other than right where I was, right here, right now. So easy to go think, oh God, it's got to be someplace else. But that's really a big mistake. Zazen and our practice help us to be able to experience each moment. And in each moment we are presented with Dharma. Coming with a mind of not knowing is so essential. Without it, our preconceived ideas and prejudices that we take on from friends, family, and culture cloud the experience with thoughts that block our receptivity. Zazen is a wonderful tool that we use to be present and to open our minds and not get caught up in thoughts and emotions, just being aware of them, not pushing them away, but being aware of them and to see what's really going on. It also makes us more able to be intimate with the Dharma. And seeing the Dharma in action, we are able to become more compassionate and giving. Compassion, I think, comes from being aware of the suffering and its sources that go on in the world on a day-to-day basis. Otherwise, I think we're not particularly aware of it. Or if we are, we kind of sidestep it. In the world today, there's so much tragedy and so much pain that's going on all over the globe. And all of it is needless, absolutely unnecessary. None of this is new to us either. In the past, there have been many periods of time that have been equally tragic. There have been wars and suffering and pestilence and famine and plagues and you name it, it's been there, that have taken place throughout history and have caused unbelievable harm and suffering. One instance that stands out to me that is rarely mentioned is the Trail of Tears. In the 1830s, over 16,000 Cherokee were forcibly removed from their homes in the southeast United States of the U.S. and marched to what was then called Indian Territory and is now Oklahoma. And that was done under the Indian Removal Act, which didn't start just then, but goes back many, many years before that. With actually, from what I understand, Jefferson had a hand in putting this forward. Approximately 4,000 died of exposure and starvation, men, women, and children, and disease along the way. And these kinds of atrocities are still going on all over the world. I really have no words that can express how I feel. The closest I can come is rage and grief. And it's tragic that these people that had perpetrated and are perpetrating these ongoing acts of cruelty are blind, and they are completely blind and are intentionally doing these acts to get them what they want in the short term. Being so caught up in their greed and power, and above all, I think sometimes it's the protecting themselves from the so-called other. And even with doing what they're doing, they can never be satisfied and relieve the cravings that they have. That they have absolutely no idea of these harm they are doing to others and to themselves, and its long-term effects are passed on and on and on in unknowable ways. There is Dharma in all of this if we just open ourselves to it. But I think that it's very easy to only see one side, the harmful side, and we dwell on it. I know I do on occasion. There's more than one side to a coin, and it's very important to be open to the Dharma that we find in both sides, the ugly and tragic, as well as the kind and beautiful. There is teaching in all of it, and it's all important. Being aware of the teachings in all of this can foster a sense of compassion in us all that is sorely needed, now more than ever. We are greeted at every moment with Dharma, as I've said, from when we open our eyes in the morning to when we're having our first cup of coffee or tea, to the splash of water in the sink, to when we read the news or what we see when we look out the window. Where do you see the Dharma in your life? How do you experience it? The Dharma is boundless, and also is quite subtle. The approaching fall, the turning leaves, red and gold, and the hummingbirds are migrating south for the winter. I have a poem by Thich Nhat Hanh. It's a short one that I want to offer to you. Our true home is in the present moment. To live in the present moment is a miracle. The miracle is to walk on the green earth in the present moment, to appreciate the peace and beauty that are available now. Once we learn to touch this peace, we will be healed and transformed. It is not a matter of faith, it's a matter of practice. Thank you.